Now, in preparation for setting up our tires, we're going to drill some holes in the bottom of this. Now, I've found that any drill bit will work. This is a 9/16 wood drill bit. All we're trying to do is put some holes in the bottom so when you set it up outside, if it rains, the rain will be able to escape and won't settle in the bottom of the tire, making a perfect breeding ground for mosquitoes. Now, you don't have to do this, of course, but it is a good idea if you're going to keep the tires permanently based outside. Now, I'm also going to punch some holes into the side walls of these tires. These will be set up for the tire dummy, and they will be laying flat like this. So here again, you want the water to be able to drain out. So you're going to drill the holes in the bulge area. Now here, we're just scouting out the area to find a good place to set up our tire. Clear away the brush at the bottom of the tree, clean up the branches, and we're all set to go. Okay, I've got one of the tires positioned, and I put the holes that we drilled on the bottom so if it rains the water can drain out. Now, you don't have to have a branch sticking out to hook it on like that, but it's helpful when you're trying to put it in place. Now, from here we're going to use some rope and tie it to the tree. Now here we have some 3/8 inch braided rope. You can get this at any hardware store, Home Depot, even Walmart carries it. I ended up using 20 foot of rope at the top and 20 foot at the bottom. Okay, the next one I'm going to put into this little stand of trees here. As you can see, they're not huge, and it doesn't have to be. You just want to find a spot in between the branches or along the side of the trunk that's strong enough to support your tire and take a little bit of a beating. I've kind of forced it in between a couple of branches here. But here again, you don't need to do that. It's just helpful when you're putting it up. We're just going to put it along the side of a branch. We're going to tie it down with a rope, and that should hold it in place for us. The nice thing about doing it this way is if you need to change it, see, like later on I might put it down here in this area, depending on when I want to change the height, or if a branch breaks or something, I can change it anytime I want to. Now here, like the other one, you want to make sure you set it up at about head height. If you notice, not only do I have it tied at the top and bottom, but I also tied it to that branch behind it to help keep it a little more stabilized when you're striking the tire. Now this dummy is free spinning, and it's a little bit harder to work with. You also notice we have two tires that are perpendicular to each other. Now, in order to keep these tires in place, I've actually bolted them together. If you look closely, you can see where I've drilled holes through both the tires, pushed bolts through them, and then tightened them down with the nut and washers. Now, you don't have to do it this way, but it will make sure that the tires don't twist and spin too much like they would if you're only using the rope to tie them together. And finally, we're going to take this old portable basketball hoop and turn this into a stationary dummy. This last part seems to be stuck here, so we'll see if we can't loosen it up with the little WD-40. Well, after some beating and pounding with the hammer, I finally got it to come loose. Now when I started to put the tires on, I noticed that the tires leaned forward because of the back braces that were used to hold the pole in an upright position. So a simple fix was just to run over to Home Depot and grab a couple cinder blocks to level everything out. Now, as you can see, it should be a little bit taller, so I need about 1 or 2 more tires to put on here. Now, if you're going to be beating on these tires with your full strength in order to increase your power, you'll probably want to get a little bit thicker stick like these 1 1/4 here. The thinner ones are more for technique and will be more apt to shatter if you're beating on the tires too hard with them. Now, regardless of which size stick you use, it's always a good idea to wrap them with some tape. Now, the clear hockey tape works great. It's got a plastic feel to it. And then you can always wrap some down on the handle to help your grip. If you don't have this, you can just always use some duct tape. If you notice, even when the sticks are starting to splinter, if you wrap them, it will pull everything together and you can continue to use that stick. Now, before we go, I want to briefly say something about adding sticks to your tire station to represent arms. Now, most people want to put one on either side to represent the left and right hand. The problem is, if you notice here, I'm not doing much footwork. The fact that there's a stick on either side is keeping me penned in. A better way to do this is just to add one stick in the middle, and this will allow for more mobility. Footwork is the key when working with a weapon, whether it's a stick or a knife. Now, this is just a quick demonstration here, and we will go into this more in further lessons. But I just wanted to give you something to think about.